Hello, hello, it is me, Ginger, from Exclusive ARC. Happy May. I am coming at you today with a very quick video that I think might be of interest to you. A lot of people keep asking me, Ginger, what is the secret to success in the writing business? How do you end up on the bestseller lists? And if I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be running Exclusive ARC. I would be on the bestseller lists. But I'll tell you what, from my own personal writing perspective, I do okay. And I work with a lot of writers who do okay, to better than okay, to really very, very, very successful. And so I'm starting to really learn what it is that you need to have to be successful at writing and to turn this into a full-time career. And when it comes down to it, there are only two components that you have to have. The rest you can learn. And the components are, first of all, you need to be able to string a sentence together and write a half-decent book. And, you know, the ability to write, to a certain extent, you know, is a gift, is a talent. You can craft it and hone it and improve it, and you certainly do. If I read some of the stuff I first published in 2013 compared to what I'm writing and publishing now, like, I cringe, because I was just at a such lower level, but I was still, you know, publishing stuff and selling stuff. So the ability to write is one thing, but the second thing is the ability to write constantly. You need to be able to keep churning out books, to keep churning out stuff and publishing it. The most successful self-published authors write a book a month, or if they write shorts, they write a short a week. Some write a short a day. They are super, super disciplined about writing. And that's really the secret of success for any writer. I mean, I'm a big fan of the old James Bond books by Ian Fleming, and he used to say he got up in the morning and he wrote 2,000 words, and then he would go off and do what it was, which tended to be have a glass of wine and fall asleep. But that's how he churned out his books, and he was quite a prolific writer before he had a heart attack and died. But James Patterson, for example, and Lee Child, I mean, they just churn out book after book after book. So if you want to be successful as a self-published writer, whether you're concentrating on shorts or whether you're concentrating on novels, you need to keep consistently writing. So that's great. Okay, how do you do that, Ginger? Well, I know that's something that I fall short on. I really do. I get up in the morning and I'm like, I need to write and I need to publish new books, and ends up all these different things end up getting in the way, and I get frustrated with myself that I'm not more disciplined about it. But I'll tell you what I don't know about being a disciplined writer, I know somebody who does. So ever since Exclusive ARC started, there have been some authors that I've worked consistently with month after month. There's one author in particular who really stands out because of her work ethic. So every single month, almost to the day, I get an email from her saying, hey, my new book's ready, when are we going to run the ARC? So I thought that it would be worth chatting to her and finding out what it is that she manages to do to be able to keep up this prodigious, prolific churn of words, because every single month it's a 50,000 word novel. Every single month. I've read the last two because she actually used my editing service, so I sent them off to an editor, and then after we got back I actually read them with a very critical eye, and they're good. Every month, a 50,000 word novel that's good, that hits all the consistencies of the romance genre. I mean, how does she do it? So I decided I would ask. So in a minute, I'm going to play an interview that I did with this author. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Lilian Monroe. Currently, she is in Vancouver, Canada. Before then, she was traveling the world as a writer. And she has written a number of books that I featured on Exclusive ARC, pretty much one every month for like the last 6 months. The last two, really, really interesting. They are Swear to Me and Lie to Me, which are parts 1 and 2 in a series about the Clark brothers, the Adirondacks in New York. Really, really solid novels. There's a third coming up, I'm sure. So I will have links to all her stuff down below, blah, blah, blah. But without further ado, here is Lilian Monroe, and she's going to tell us a little bit about how she keeps writing every single day. So I am so happy that Miss Lindsay Monroe, that was me wing, agreed to chat. So I like to do this like video thing sometimes, and I am a huge fan of your work ethic. And I have this theory that what it really like being a writer, a successful writer, isn't necessarily rocket science. You have to be able to like do the basics, like write a decent story and stuff like that. And I've read your book, so I know they're good. But the one thing that you need to do, be able to do, is write consistently. And I know that's where I fail. That's where so many writers fail. And then here you are. I've worked with you for a number of months, and it's like every month you've got a new 50,000 word novel coming out, and I've read the last couple of them, and they're really good and like strong, consistent, proper romance novels. So, and like you were traveling the world in Thailand, now you've come back to Canada, and you've got a job while you're getting settled. How do you do it?
I guess I just set goals for myself every day. Like writing, I really want this to be like my business basically. So I've started doing the Pomodoro Method a couple months ago, which has been amazing for my productivity. So I aim for 5,000 words a day, but you know, it varies from like 3 to 7, I'd say, when I'm writing. And then yeah, it's just kind of like get her done.
Well, I mean, it's funny. I'm a big fan of the cheesy old James Bond books, and I know Ian Fleming used to do 2,000 words a day, and then he
Oh
used to
yeah.
go off and have 4 glasses of wine and fall asleep. But 5,000 is pretty ambitious as well. So how much, okay, so when it comes to your books, like how much do you plan out front?
I usually do like a rough outline. I'll have like a concept. And usually I'd say the first act or like the first half of the book is fairly like I know what's going to happen. And then I obviously know how it's going to end because we all know how it's going to end. Um,
Well, yeah. I mean, you know it's going to be a happy ever after, but saying that, your last two books had some pretty major twists in the end.
yeah. So, I mean, some of those I think of as I go. Like a lot of times, you know, the first part of the second half, I haven't really outlined very much. And I just kind of get impatient and start writing and just see what happens because the characters sort of change as you write them. And yeah. So I basically have a concept and then I write like a rough outline for the major beats and then I just go for it.
That's really interesting because it's funny. What I've read your last two books because I sent them off to an editor, and then we came back, and I was like going through to make sure that all the edits were good. And the first one was great, and the twist at the end, which I won't give away, but I will like have links to your books, really surprised me. But I have to admit, the second book I really got swept up in to the point where I had to pause and go back and be like, oh damn, I wasn't looking at all the edits that were done and had to catch up with that. And I love the twist in the end of that one as well. So again, I won't give them away, but it's just interesting. I was wondering about the planning because it like twists aren't something you could necessarily just throw in, but
Yeah, I mean, the first book, Lie to Me, I knew I had thought of the twist, but the second, Swear to Me, I hadn't until I started writing it. And then what I'll do is I'll have like just a note on my desktop and I'll be like, ooh, add hints about this. And then when I go back through and edit, I sort of tweak things.
that's
So
really interesting. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about like your schedule? How do you do in terms of like writing? Because for me, I get up at 5 in the morning and I try and get 2 hours of writing done before the kids get up, and I normally get about 30 minutes done before the kids get up. But I always find for me, like first thing in the morning when I got a cup of coffee and I'm energized, that's the best time for writing. How does it work for you? How do you get your 5,000 words a day down?
yeah, pretty similar, except I don't have kids, which makes it a lot easier.
If
But
you
yeah,
want, I can send you some.
I'm okay for now. Yeah, I basically get up. I used to get up really early, about 5, and that's sort of like email and admin time. And then I have a cup of coffee and some breakfast, and then yeah, it's just writing. I can usually do like in one 30-minute session, I can usually do like 1,000 to 1,200 words when I know what I'm gonna write. And then yeah, and then I just go until my brain is fried.
Yeah. So there are two things that are interesting. First of all, you said that you can, as long as you know what you're writing about. And I find that planning a novel out means I've only ever got writer's block when I kind of run out of plot, or I write myself into a corner and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And sometimes
Yeah.
I've had to like delete 15,000 words to go back and totally divert the course of the story. So that's why I'm quite interested in like what your planning process is. And the other thing, you say the 30 minutes, that goes back to the Pomodoro Technique, which I think most people who I work with are familiar with, but that's where you assign 25 minutes where you just focus on one particular task, in your case writing, and then you take a 5-minute break, and then you do another 25 minutes. And I think, is it you do 3 POMs, and then you can take half-an-hour break or something?
Yeah, I think it's usually 4, but I don't really do the 4 and then longer break. I just sort of do usually 2 or 3, and then I can't think anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, and I get that as well. Sometimes you just like hit the wall and they're done. But I mean, I think it's your level of productivity is just amazing. And I mean, I know that I mean, I think, to be honest, compared to like the average self-published writer, you already are at like an elevated success level. But I just know that if you can keep up that productivity and like hit the magic thing, then you're just gonna skyrocket. And more power to well, more power to you, because you have that work ethic, which I think so many of us need to do. I think in terms of writing, so much of it you can learn, but the two things that are important is you've got to be able to string a sentence together, which you can definitely do, and then you've got to be able to just sit down and focus on writing, and that's the thing that I know I struggle with, and I think a lot of writers struggle with. So.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the Pomodoro Method has helped so much, because I have an app on my phone, and I'll just put it down beside me. And when I'm writing and like my mind starts wandering, I'll just look at it. I'll be like, all right, 11 minutes. I can do 11 minutes. Like, basically just count down.
No, I like that. So that's awesome. Okay. Well, I think I'm not going to rabbit on too long, but I think that's fantastic advice. I have really enjoyed working with you, and I hope to continue working with you for a long time. And anybody who is watching this video, this is Lilian Monroe. You should definitely check out her books, not just the last 2 ones, which are fantastic, and hopefully there's a 3rd one on the way, but also the books you did before that, and who knows where they will go. So thank you very much. I'm gonna, what is it they say on radio stations? They're like, stay on the line, because I'll chat to you afterwards, but I'm going to stop recording now, and hopefully the people who watch this found this productive and interesting, and it will help them stick to their writing.
Yes, thanks, Ginger.
Okay, guys, I hope you found that useful. Lilian, thank you very, very much for sharing your time and your thoughts. So there we go, guys. Try some of those techniques, Pomodoro Technique, plotting stuff out in advance. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. It's like Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. It's just keep writing. And if there is anything I can do to help or support, you know where I am. Email me at editor@exclusivearc.com. Go and visit exclusivearc.com on the internet. I'm always around on Reddit and other places. You can sign up for a newsletter, whatever. But I'm here to help you succeed, because if you succeed, I succeed, and everyone succeeds, and then that's just gravy. So it was awesome to speak to you. I will chat to you again soon. Ciao.